Hello students! Now that you've learned all about references pages from watching the APA Style Part 1 video, it's time to talk about citing within the body of your paper. This video will help you understand in-text citing and will also walk you through how to complete Part 1 of the Week 9 assignment. This assignment is found in the Week 9 Tasks folder. So what is in-text citing? Whenever you use facts, ideas, and quotes from another source in your paper, you must give credit to the source with an in-text citation. If you fail to do this, you run the risk of plagiarizing or taking credit for ideas that are not your own. Plagiarism is considered a violation of Harrison's academic integrity policy, which can be subject to severe penalties. Citing your sources properly is the way to avoid this. Most often, when you use information from another source, you'll be paraphrasing. Paraphrasing just means that you're putting the main ideas and themes from a source into your own words in your paper. You can't simply change a couple of words. You must completely reword them using your own voice, significantly changing the structure and grammar of the sentence. See this example. I found a great fact from CNN.com and I want to paraphrase it. So I'm going to completely reword it and then I'm going to cite it. When you use information from another source, APA requires that you cite that source with the author's last name and the date in parentheses before the period. In this case, the author is an organization, CNN.com. Your reader can flip to the back of your paper to your references page and match that in-text citation to the full reference on the references page. When you're quoting, which means you're using the author's exact words with quotation marks, you must include a page number in your in-text citation for that quote. If it's a website, then you'll use a paragraph number. In this example, I got this quote from a 1998 website article written by Jones, paragraph 4. You can also cite your source in your writing rather than in parentheses. If you use the author's name and/or the date in the sentence, then you don't have to include it at the end. All you have to add is the page or paragraph number if you're quoting. Sometimes you have a source with no author. In that case, you would use the first few words of the title in the source, followed by the date in your in-text citation. Now, on to the assignment. This assignment has two specific parts, and I'm going to walk you through Part 1. For Part 1, you'll be doing three things. You will select one of the two options and paraphrase it, including an in-text citation. Next, you'll rewrite the paragraph, adding a quote and an in-text citation for a quote. Finally, you'll format the bibliographic information provided into a reference. Looking at the two paragraph options here, the first one is about airline travel and it comes from a web page. The second is about business commerce and comes from a book, and I might add is really the easier one to choose. Choose one of these options. For this demonstration, I'm actually going to use a completely different passage that I pulled from a website. So here's my passage. The first thing I'm going to do is format the bibliographic information into my reference. To do this, I'm going to use my style sheet for websites. I'm going to find the pattern for websites. Remember the style sheet I referred you to in the first video? You can find it in the Communications Research Guide from the online LRC. And there's my reference citation. Next, I'm going to paraphrase the information I found in this source. I've read it several times and I understand that it's talking about reducing cancer risk by cutting down on plastic products that contain BPA. And now I'm going to add my in-text citation at the end to credit my source. And there it is. Next, I'm going to copy the paragraph I wrote again, this time adding a quote, and finally my in-text citation. Remember, when you quote, you must include a page or a paragraph number. And Part 1 of the assignment is done. For Part 2 of the assignment, use your knowledge of APA from the first video as well as the Harrison Style Guide to correct the citations, and remember to put them in alphabetical order by the first word. I will tell you that the encyclopedia entry, the one that starts with business plans, is actually correct and needs no corrections. Good luck, and don't forget to ask your instructor if you need any assistance.